The first time Emily Watson noticed the pristine white Lexus blocking her driveway, she assumed it was a mistake, a simple misunderstanding that could be resolved with a polite conversation. But Karen Thompson wasn't just any neighbor. She was the embodiment of suburban entitlement that made Emily's blood boil. It started 3 weeks ago on a crisp Tuesday morning when Emily returned from her job at the marketing firm. She was exhausted, her blazer wrinkled from a day of back-to-back client meetings, and all she wanted was to pull into her own driveway and collapse. Instead, she found herself staring at a gleaming luxury vehicle parked precisely where her Honda should have been. The first encounter was almost comical in its audacity. When Emily tracked down Karen, who lived 2 doors down, the woman didn't even attempt to apologize. "Oh, I needed a place to park while my driveway was being sealed," Karen had explained, her tone suggesting Emily should be grateful for the opportunity to accommodate her. Emily tried diplomacy. She left notes. She sent text messages. She even spoke with Karen directly multiple times, each conversation more frustrating than the last. The local HOA was useless, offering nothing more than sympathetic shrugs and bureaucratic red tape. Her next-door neighbor, Mark, witnessed the ongoing saga and could only shake his head in disbelief. Some people, he'd say, watching Karen's car remain parked in Emily's driveway for days on end, had no sense of boundaries. But Emily was not the type to be pushed around. A meticulous planner with a background in project management, she began to document everything. Photographs, timestamps, message logs, she compiled a comprehensive record of Karen's repeated violations. Each day the car remained, her resolve hardened like concrete. The breaking point came on a rainy Friday afternoon. Emily had just returned from a particularly challenging client presentation, her nerves frayed and her patience exhausted. There it was again, Karen's Lexus, gleaming and unapologetic, blocking her entire driveway. The same driveway she had paid for. The same driveway that was legally, unequivocally hers. Something shifted inside Emily in that moment. The careful, methodical professional transformed into something else entirely, a woman pushed beyond the limits of suburban civility. Her mind began to race with possibilities, each more audacious than the last. She wasn't going to be a victim. She wasn't going to be ignored. As rain pelted against her office window, Emily opened her laptop and began to research. Construction materials, local regulations, vacation destinations. A plan was forming, a plan that would be so unexpected, so completely outside the realm of typical neighborly conflict that Karen would never see it coming. Little did Karen know, Emily Watson was about to turn her own entitlement into an elaborate, meticulously planned nightmare. The game had changed, and Emily was ready to play. Emily's plan required precision. Her professional background in project management transformed what could have been a moment of pure rage into a calculated strategy. She spent the next week meticulously preparing, her laptop open late into the night, browser tabs filled with construction supply websites, vacation booking platforms, and local building codes. First, she needed materials. The local home improvement store became her second home. She carefully selected high-quality bricks, industrial-strength mortar, and specialized tools. The staff raised eyebrows at her purchasing pattern. A single woman buy enough building materials to construct a small fortress. Emily simply smiled, her poker face perfected through years of high-stakes client negotiations. Her research revealed a perfect window of opportunity. Karen worked as a real estate agent with a notoriously demanding schedule of open houses and client meetings. More importantly, she was predictable. Emily tracked her movements, noting her typical weekly routine through careful observation and strategic social media monitoring. Mark, her next-door neighbor, became an unwitting ally. During one of their casual conversations, he mentioned Karen's upcoming 2-week listing for a lakeside property, a major sale that would consume her entire schedule. Perfect timing. Emily's vacation request at work was strategic. She had accumulated months of unused time, and her team respected her dedication. Her boss, impressed by her consistently excellent performance, approved the time off without hesitation. Little did he know this wasn't going to be a typical vacation. The preparation was meticulous. She purchased a high-end portable Wi-Fi device, ensuring she could work remotely if needed. Her mail would be forwarded, her lawn would be maintained by a pre-arranged service, and her social media would show carefully curated posts suggesting a peaceful tropical getaway. What Karen didn't know was that Emily's vacation would be anything but relaxing, for Karen, at least. Late one night, Emily spread her plans across her home office. Blueprints of her property, Karen's typical schedule, construction material specifications, and local ordinance documents created a complex web of strategy. She double-checked every detail, her marketing strategist's brain working overtime to anticipate potential complications. This was more than revenge. This was a statement, a line drawn in the metaphorical and soon literal sand. Emily smiled. The game was about to begin. The morning of Karen's big lakeside property listing dawned clear and bright. Emily watched from her carefully positioned vantage point, binoculars hidden behind potted plants, tracking every movement with military precision. Karen left her house at 5:30 a.m., her Lexus backing out of her own driveway and disappearing down the street. Emily waited exactly 2 hours, long enough to ensure Karen was fully committed to her day of real estate showings. With methodical efficiency, Emily began her work. She had purchased professional-grade construction equipment to minimize noise. Her first task was removing the existing driveway markers and preparing the surface. The electric saw cut through the concrete with surgical precision, creating a clean foundation for her plan. Her neighbor Mark wandered over, coffee in hand, looking confused. "What exactly are you doing?" he asked, eyebrows raised. Emily simply smiled. "Home improvement project," she responded, her voice betraying nothing of her true intentions. By midday, the first layer of bricks was being carefully placed. Emily's marketing brain had turned this into a logistical masterpiece. Each brick was positioned with mathematical accuracy, the mortar applied with the same attention to detail she used on a critical client presentation. The neighborhood watched with a mixture of curiosity and confusion. Mrs. Rodriguez from across the street peered out her window, whispering to her husband. The local dog walker paused, smartphone out, clearly contemplating whether this was social media-worthy content. Emily worked through the afternoon, her professional attire replaced by work clothes, her manicured hands now covered in mortar and dust. She was methodical, precise, leaving no room for error. By late afternoon, the driveway was transforming, no longer an open passage, but a solid wall of carefully constructed brick. Her phone buzzed occasionally with work emails, which she answered between brick placements. To any outside observer, she was simply a homeowner doing some renovations. To Karen, she was about to become a nightmare. As the sun began to set, Emily made her final preparations. She took several photographs of her handiwork, ensuring she had documentation of every step. The brick wall was perfect, solid, immovable, a testament to her determination. Her laptop was open, a tropical beach scene from her vacation displayed on the screen. Airline tickets were printed. Everything was in place. Karen had no idea what was coming. The neighborhood settled into its evening routine, unaware that a suburban war was about to be waged, and Emily had just fired the first perfectly calculated shot. Karen discovered the brick wall 3 days into her crucial lakeside property listing. Her first indication something was wrong came through a series of frantic messages from her real estate colleagues who couldn't understand why her Lexus was apparently abandoned. The local police were the first to arrive. Officer Rodriguez, a veteran of suburban dispute calls, stood scratching his head at the perfectly constructed brick barrier. Emily's documentation was immaculate, property lines verified, every brick placed with legal precision. Her prearranged paperwork showed she was on an extended vacation, making her conveniently unreachable. Mark, a next-door neighbor, became an unexpected source of entertainment for the neighborhood. He fielded calls from curious residents, offering cryptic comments like, "Well, you know how some neighborly disputes go," with a barely concealed smirk. Karen's professional life began to unravel. The lakeside property listing, her most significant sale of the year, started to fall apart. Potential buyers couldn't access the property, and her reputation in the local real estate market began to crumble. Her colleagues whispered about her reliability, and her broker started asking uncomfortable questions. Social media caught fire. A local community Facebook group erupted with speculation. Screenshots of the brick wall went viral, with residents taking sides. Some praised Emily's creative problem-solving, while others condemned her extreme approach. Local news outlets caught wind of the story, sensing a viral sensation. The HOA was paralyzed. Their typical bureaucratic responses seemed laughably inadequate in the face of Emily's meticulously planned revenge. Legal notices were drafted, then redrafted as they struggled to find a clear violation. Meanwhile, Emily's carefully curated social media presented a picture of tranquility. Tropical beach photos, carefully filtered and timed, showed her enjoying vacation, completely disconnected from the suburban warfare she'd unleashed. Karen's attempts to contact Emily went unanswered. Text messages went unread, emails bounced back, and her phone calls were met with a professional voicemail that gave nothing away. Emily had planned every detail, creating a wall of silence as impenetrable as the brick barrier in her driveway. The real estate agency began internal discussions about Karen's professional future. The lost listing, combined with the viral embarrassment, put her career on thin ice. What had started as a casual misuse of a neighbor's driveway was now threatening to destroy everything she worked for. As the week progressed, the brick wall became more than just a physical barrier. It was a symbol, a testament to Emily's patience, her strategic mind, and her absolute refusal to be disrespected. The game was far from over, and Emily was exactly where she wanted to be, in complete control. 2 weeks later, Emily returned from her vacation to a neighborhood transformed. The brick wall stood as a monument to her calculated revenge, a silent testament to suburban warfare waged with surgical precision. The legal aftermath was surprisingly anticlimactic. Emily's meticulous preparation meant that every action was technically within her rights. Property lines were verified, building codes were consulted, and her documentation was flawless. The HOA, local authorities, and Karen's attempts at legal recourse all hit the same impenetrable wall she constructed, both literally and metaphorically. Karen's real estate career had taken a devastating hit. The viral story of the brick driveway had spread far beyond their small suburban community. Clients disappeared, her agency began distancing itself, and her professional reputation lay in ruins. What had begun as a casual misuse of a neighbor's driveway had become a catastrophic professional meltdown. Mark, who had witnessed the entire saga, became something of a local celebrity. Neighbors would stop him during his morning walks, asking for details about that crazy driveway situation. He maintained a diplomatic silence, occasionally offering a cryptic smile that spoke volumes. Emily returned to work with her typical composed demeanor. Her colleagues noticed nothing unusual, just another employee back from a relaxing vacation. Only the slight hint of satisfaction in her smile suggested anything had changed. The brick wall remained, a constant reminder of what happens when someone pushes Emily Watson too far. Months later, the property values on the street had an unexpected shift. Emily's house, once overlooked, became a topic of fascination. Real estate agents would point to the pristine brick wall as they drove potential buyers around the neighborhood. A strange suburban landmark that spoke of something deeper. Boundaries, respect, consequences. Karen eventually moved. Her for sale sign went up quietly, without the fanfare of her previous real estate dealings. No one in the neighborhood seemed surprised. As for Emily, she continued her life. Professional, measured, unflappable. The brick wall stood as her only statement, a silent warning to those who might consider taking advantage of her kindness. Some neighbors called it revenge. Emily simply called it problem-solving. In the quiet suburban landscape, justice had been served, one perfectly placed brick at a time.